it's almost something like a cancer. So he would it's something to do with your red blood cells or something, not having a lot or something. So he was always in pain. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the last couple years of his life, he really, well, most of his life at the high school, he really became codependent upon alcohol, and that's where you'll see my character with Amari. You'll see a different side. So Amari is inspired by my best friend. Not exactly his whole life, but you'll see bits and pieces of who his character was. My best friend, if you could meet him, he literally was like a star. He was like one of the funniest people you'll meet. You'll have such a good time. And I literally just felt like the world just missed out on such a oh my God, he was just hilarious. You would have so much fun with him. And I felt like the world missed out. And I just felt like with him, he was I didn't realize until after he died how much pain he was in. And the drinking, it was numbing the pain, the physical pain and the emotional pain. And what's unfortunate is that I literally sometimes, at times I feel like I was an enabler. So I feel like I was always with him. So it, like I said, it's unfortunate that my best friend died, but I wouldn't have a hurt people, bitter and broken.
If it didn't happen.
If it didn't happen, because I was so codependent. We were so codependent upon each other. Yeah. Like I was so, and it's like when he died, I'm like, well, what do I do now? You feel what I'm saying? Like, where do I go? Yeah, like, because my life overall around him, just being there for him. You feel what I'm saying? So it's sad. It still hurt me, but at the same time, I feel like God knows best. And I wouldn't be able to do other things that God might want me to do if I was, kind of worried about him and what he's doing. Yeah. And
you're honoring him by doing your series. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You're honoring him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think about it all the time, but I feel like you kind of do without even realizing it.
Probably.
You may realize that. I could be completely wrong, but
yeah. I mean, I do kind of, but I think like when people, sometimes the messages and stuff I get, I'm just like, wow. Like even through you dying, I feel like God is kind of breathing new life into you, because
he's still alive, man.
Yeah, your spirit is still living on.
He never died. What do you mean?
So it's just like his spirit is living on, because like it was so crazy. I was sitting in bed one time. His mom called me out of nowhere, and she's like, "I want you to let it go, Richard." And I'm just like, called me out of the blue. I was just laying there in my bed, like she's like, "I want you to let it go," and I'm just like, "Huh?" And she was like, "I want you to let it go." She's like, "I know you love my son. You feel me? Y'all was like brothers, cousins, like everything." And she was like, "But I want you to know, like," she was like, "He's like your invisible friend." She was like, "He'll always be there for you. He's there." But I just miss like him calling me 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning drunk, getting on my nerves, or him coming up to my job, or just him just being at my house. You get what I'm saying? Like not want to clean up. I just miss him. Like I miss his presence.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, like I said, I want people to take away forgiveness, because when you don't forgive, you literally allow people to have power over you. You really, really do, and you don't realize it, because I allowed that situation to have power over me. I got out of a relationship recently, 6 years. I allowed that to have power over me, and it's just like, you have to forgive people for you. You feel me? Like, for you to move forward with your life, because what I realized is you'll be sitting up here stressed out worrying about people, and guess what? They on to the next person. You get what I'm saying? They on living their life, living their best life. You feel what I'm saying? All on Instagram, posting it up, happy on the beach, having a good time, and you stressed out, and they ain't even thinking about you. You get what I'm saying? So forgiveness is for you. So if anything, I hope people take from this series is forgiveness. Like, forgive. Next season we talk about rape. We talk about a lot of different things. And I just, like I said, I hope it just begins like some type of healing, and it sparked conversation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
and you're only 30. You're only 30.
I'm just getting started.
I mean, listen to what you just said, okay? Yeah. It takes people sometimes 40 years, and I'm talking from experience, to forgive.
Wow.
Okay? So you've already got it down, and you know.
Thank God.
So I hope people can really listen to you.
Yeah, and it's hard. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I still have those points. I feel like in my life where I feel like something broke me, or something, I might have a little bitterness towards certain things, but then I realize like it's not worth it. Like you
Yeah.
forgive, like we only got like a certain amount of time here, so it's not worth it. And like I said, to go back to hurt people. When you realize, and I'm gonna just touch on this a little briefly. Like I grew up and I didn't really have. I love my mom to death. We have a better relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up really having the best relationship with my mother. So I grew up feeling unloved, unwanted. I grew up feeling not attractive. I grew up feeling nobody loved me. You feel me? Even though my dad did the best he could do to love me, I wanted that love from my mother. So sometimes you want, like some people don't realize you want what you want from who you want it from.
Yeah.
So I grew up just feeling like, dang, my mom don't love me. So that poured into my adulthood, and that poured into the relationships that, you know, that I happen to be in, whether that be a friendship or whether that be, you know, a relationship. You get what I mean? And what I'm realizing now that as I get older is that sometimes in life or whatever, you may not necessarily get what you feel like you need in life, but then I feel like in a way, like I know it's a scripture in the Bible where it talks about for those who love him, God will turn it around for your good. So I meet people like you get what I'm saying, and I meet other people that's like been surrogate mothers, like my ninth grade, I had this teacher, her name is Miss Brown or whatever. Like she was telling me about the Lord and about Jesus. And then I met this other lady, Janine. She's actually in a web series. She plays my mother. She's been nothing but a mother.
I
to
loved
me.
her.
You feel what I'm saying? So that interaction you see on the series, when you get a chance to see it, that's like me and her all
That's
day.
probably it. That's probably
Yeah.
that
So
anyway.
we wasn't even acting. So it's just like God sometimes will give you what you need. You know what he feel like you do need.
Oh baby, you.
So you might not always, like I said, get it where you need it from, you know, but that's okay because I feel like God is still turning it around for your good. And he'll still make you whole. And
Or you may need it, then you just may not understand it.
yeah, and you'll get it. I feel like you'll get it. Sometimes we feel like we want something from certain people, and then later on you realize, you know what, I didn't even really need it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really. I thought I needed it, but you know, God knows best.
Yeah, I thought I needed this at that time. Now I realize I don't now.
Yeah, and then now that I'm older, like I said, we have a better relationship. I think what made me have a better relationship with my mom is not that anything really changed. It was the fact that I started humanizing her, and I started realizing that my mom had me at 19. She had 2 kids at 19, and then she went through, you know, a lot. You get what I'm saying? And been abused and all kind of stuff that happened to her. And I started looking at her and being like, wow, like you really a strong woman. You've been through a lot. I couldn't imagine having 2 kids at 19 years old and coming from the background she came from, and you know, just drugs and alcohol, you know, family. You get what I'm saying? And still be able to overcome that. You know, I had an uncle, her brother actually. It's life, you feel me? My uncle had passed away. They says it was a accidental drowning, but he was kind of like, you know, he was kind of like intoxicated and you know, and stuff like that. So that's where my family comes from. That so to see my mom kind of, you know,
still be around after having to deal with all of that.
So it made me just sit back and be like, you know what? Let me take a seat back and let me just see her as a human, because now that I'm an adult, I look at things differently from a child. So I'm just like, okay, I understand now. Like I understand a little bit better. Like she really did the best that she could at what she knew.
But I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the cycle's not broken. My mother, her family, so much craziness, badness went on, okay? They never broke the cycle, okay? So there had to be something inside of you, deep, deep, deep inside of you as a child. What do you think it was that made you be able to be the one to break the cycle?
I just felt like it was God,
honestly,
because just that fear, you know, of God, you get what I mean? And that's where I was telling you before, like just trying to get back to that. Like I just feel like God kind of introduced himself to me at an early age, like 9 years old. And not saying I didn't fall off, you feel me? Not saying I never partied and did none of that stuff. I'm still trying to come up out of a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like he knew. He knew all of this stuff was going to happen. He knew my best friend was going to die. He knew, my uncle and, my grandma, my grandpa. Like, he knew a lot of stuff was going to happen. Like, the last couple, like, I just had a cousin 2 months ago get murdered. Like, when I say life has been very tough, very hard, stuff that I've been through, like, somebody probably be on drugs or they lost their mind. You get what I'm saying? But to come from all of that, you get what I'm saying? And to still keep going, it's nothing but God. Like, nothing but God.
So, I want to say something to everybody out there, okay, listening to this young man, because I think he's incredible. And, I can tell you firsthand from being, I had my dad's family, amazing, hardworking people, but then there was my mom's family. Okay, so I came from everything he's talking about, and I watched an entire family, generation after generation after generation, hate, kill, murder, rape, on and on. And guess what? The cycle was never broken. So what this young man has done is he's been through a lot for his age. Losing his best friend inspired what he's doing with the series. And I have to just say how proud I am of him, because God has something great in store for you. And the thing is here, lots of people believe in God or they're not sure or whatever, but he listened to God. He allowed God to talk to him, and he took what God said and he took it seriously. And that's why I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
So you've done so much. You broke the cycle, and now look at what you're doing.
Yes.
I had to say that.
I'm so grateful, because what it does is it allows my people from behind me, like my nephew and my nieces and nephews, my cousins, because my sister had told me that she was just basically like, oh, my son come home and be like, lights, camera, action, quiet on the set. Like, so I'm just like, I was just like, wow, I'm just grateful that I could introduce him to something different other than, watching your uncle or your cousin.
That's so beautiful.
Like, just something different.
I'm looking for something for you. And
Yes,
okay, here
I'm
it is.
grateful
And I'm
for
sure
that.
you've seen this. One of my favorites. First of all, I love dreadlocks anyway, so when I saw the dreads, I was like, I love it. So I don't know if you guys could see this, but it's a man holding his son. Okay, did you ever see this one? It says, a father said to his son, be careful where you walk. The son responded, you be careful, I walk in your footsteps.
Wow. Can I just give a shout out to my dad real quick?
Yep.
I just want to shout out my dad. We got the same name, Richard Green. My dad.
He's a junior.
I just thank my dad so much or whatever, because I wouldn't be where I am without my dad. My dad didn't have a father. My my grandfather had died over drug overdose. So like, my dad didn't really have the best example, but for my dad to raise, 4 boys, like, he's just been amazing, even through his trials and tribulations. Like, he's just always been there for me. Whether he understands certain things I go through, he's just always been, an ear. And even at my age now, like, my dad texts me every morning, good morning, I love you.
So listen, this is to Dad. No,
Shout out to
seriously,
Dad.
because Dad, you did an amazing job,
Green.
Dad. You did an amazing job. Love your son.
Yes,
Daddy
thank you, Dad.
Rashad.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
Daddy
He's a
Rashad.
reflection from you.
Yes, thank you, Dad.
Absolutely.
Love you, Dad.
All right.
Yes.
But anyway, 2 things before we get off air and we go to the show Funny Talk for the technologically special, because they take about like 30 minutes to set up. All right. Anyways,
You believe
Jerry,
this?
give your show a plug real quick.
After that, I don't know how to. All right,
Talk
everybody.
about your show.
Jerry Petito from the Jerry Petito Show on Hamiltonradio.net. Tuesday nights, 5 p.m. I'm the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass.
All right. But anyway, shout out to Jerry's show and shout out to Funny Talk. Like I said, coming up next, you'll get it in about 38.2 minutes.
Yes.
And
Can I
shout
say
out.
Facebook page?
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Let him give a shout out.
You
Yep.
guys, Facebook. Can you guys go on Facebook? It's called Hurt People, Bitter and Broken. The series. That's our Facebook. Instagram is at Hurt People Series, and go to our YouTube, Bitter and Broken web series. We got 4 episodes out now, and 5th episode will be out next week. So please check it out.
All right.
Beautiful.
And
Won't be disappointed.
And anyway, shout out to you for what you've been through, what
Yep.
you've overcome,
Thank you.
and what you're doing now, along with what I'm sure you're going to do in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on air, man. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
We
thank
clap
you,
for him.
thank
There you go, baby. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Wow, Tom, that's really how you feel, man? That's how this is? All right, but anyway, this has been the Round Table here on HamiltonRadio.net, channel HR2. I'm John Breckel. We'll see you next week. Good night.
There you go. Amazing.
Wow.
Okay,